Stoicism teaches us to not have sex until marriage, and here's why. In this video, we will learn why the Stoics do not agree with sex before marriage. However, they also believed that it's immoral to judge those who do not follow the same path. Watch until the end. Let's begin. The sexual embrace can only be compared with music and with prayer. Marcus Aurelius. First, imagine yourself making music. When we create or enjoy music, it's like stepping into a world of emotions. We might feel happiness, sadness, or even excitement as the melodies and rhythms touch our hearts. Making music often involves connecting with others, whether we're playing in a band, singing along with friends, or even just enjoying a concert together. This connection through music mirrors the emotional and sometimes even spiritual connection that we can experience when we have sex. Now, consider the act of prayer. Prayer is a personal and meaningful experience for many people. It's a time when we might talk to a higher power, share our thoughts, or seek guidance. It's a bit like the personal and intimate connection we have with a partner during sex. Both prayer and intimate moments with a loved one can touch our hearts and souls in a deep and profound way. Marcus Aurelius was trying to emphasize that sex isn't just about the physical act. It involves emotions such as love, desire, and a connection with another person. These emotions are what make these experiences feel so special. They can touch us deeply, and for that reason, we should approach them with respect and care. These moments are significant and deserve to be treated as something important and cherished in our lives, much like the way we treasure music and the practice of prayer for their unique ability to connect with our hearts and spirits on a pure level. Learn to use wine with refinement and to hold back from some little lass or a little flat cake. Epictetus. On handling our desires, even when it comes to sex, Epictetus tells us to be in control and not let our desires run wild. Just like we shouldn't drink too much wine, he says we shouldn't rush into things when it comes to our sexual feelings. When he says, hold back from some little lass, he means we should be careful and not jump too quickly into romantic or sexual relationships, especially if it doesn't feel right for either person. This is all about being respectful and patient. So when it comes to sex, we should avoid making hasty decisions driven by our desires. Instead, we should make choices that match our values and principles so that we don't end up feeling sorry or causing harm, either to ourselves or others. In simple words, it's about being cautious, contemplating before acting, and being kind and considerate in our relationships to avoid problems and regrets. As for sex, abstain as far as possible before marriage, and if you do go in for it, do nothing that is socially unacceptable. But don't interfere with other people on account of their sex lives or criticize them, and don't broadcast your own abstinence. Epictetus. There's something we need to know about how we handle the physical aspects of those relationships. Epictetus thought it was a good idea to wait until you're married before you get involved in any kind of intimate activities. In his view, that's the best way to go. However, Epictetus understood that not everyone might follow this rule. Life can be complicated, and sometimes people don't wait until marriage. So, he had some advice for those who don't wait. He said it's essential to respect each person's right to make their own choices when it comes to their romantic life. That means not judging them or sticking your nose into their business. We should create a climate of respect and privacy around these matters, recognizing that they're very personal. Furthermore, Epictetus warned against making a big fuss about not having sex. In other words, he said we shouldn't brag or talk too much about our personal decisions regarding our romantic lives. Those choices are private and don't need to be shouted from the rooftops. Epictetus also said, "A man must discover an art with respect to giving his assent, and in respect to his movements he must be careful that they be made with regard to circumstances, that they be consistent with social interests, that they have regard to the value of the object. And as to sensual desire, he should altogether keep away from it. And as to avoidance, he should not show it with respect to any of the things which are not in our power. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius, who was another wise philosopher like Epictetus, gives us some advice about handling our feelings, especially in situations related to sex. Epictetus tells us that it's a good idea to stop and reflect before we act on our desires. This means making sure that the timing is right and that everyone involved is comfortable with what's happening. It's all about being in control of our actions and not letting our sexual desires take over and cloud our judgment. Epictetus also tells us not to worry too much about things we can't change, like what other people see or what they've experienced in the past. Instead, he encourages us to make smart choices. Marcus Aurelius believes this is a great approach, especially when it comes to dealing with our desires and managing our relationships. It means using our heads and doing the right thing, which leads to better and more satisfying connections with others. This simple but powerful advice can help us handle our emotions and have better relationships in our complicated world. Then think of both times, of the time when you will enjoy the pleasure and of the time after the enjoyment of the pleasure when you will repent and will reproach yourself. And set against these things how you will rejoice if you have abstained from the pleasure, and how you will commend yourself. Epictetus. When it comes to seeking quick pleasures, like satisfying our desires, there is a warning. Epictetus warns us of two important moments: the happiness we get right away from giving in to our desires and the later regret and self-blame that often follow. He tells us to compare this with the good feeling we get from controlling ourselves and not giving in to those desires. This means asking ourselves if it's a good idea to go for short-term pleasure that might make us feel bad after war, or if it's smarter to show restraint, which can lead to longer-lasting happiness and self-pride. In simple terms, he's telling us to make choices that are good for us in the long run, even when we're tempted by quick but short-lived pleasures. Remember, when it comes to sex, getting agreement from both people involved is very important. The Stoics believe it's best to wait until marriage for sex, but they also believe that those who choose a different way shouldn't be judged. People have their own thoughts and rules about what's right when it comes to being close with someone. The most important thing is that sexual intimacy should always happen with both people agreeing and respecting each other's boundaries. The Stoics remind us to be smart, honest, and kind in our sexual relationships, and to respect the choices and values of everyone, even if they don't follow Stoic teachings. If you liked this video, give us your feedback on the comment section and don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for watching, and we believe you gained something from today's video. This is Powerful Quote, and we'll see you again soon.